Hi everyone, Watch Kai-10 here. This is my January 2022 State of the Collection video. The last time I did this was 6 months ago in July, and a few things have changed since then. So let's get right into it with my newest watches in the collection that I didn't have last time. And the first one is this vintage IWC dress watch, caliber 401. From the 1960s. Now this is a watch I bought actually right after my last video as kind of a birthday present to myself. And I bought it on Reddit from someone and paid around $800 for it, which is very low for these, I would say. I see good condition ones of these going for $1,500 to $3,000. There's a few problems with this I knew from the beginning, but I was willing to be okay with. That was, I think, the case back and the crown are not original, but I'm completely okay with that. I just love the look of this watch, the fact that it has almost no bezel, which is something that I like in some watches, and the dial is very clean, and I just really like the look of this. I was looking for a vintage small size watch. This is 33 millimeters in diameter for a while. I think a little gold watch is a nice thing to have in everyone's collection. The funny thing with this is that I found out more and more over time, you can see now, why this watch was actually as cheap as it was. So everything was fine with the original strap, but I wanted a nicer strap for this watch. So I actually bought another strap online. I thought the lug width was 17 millimeters, but in fact, when I tried to change the strap, I couldn't even get the spring bars out. And I started to realize things like the lugs were a bit bent. So it seems like the previous owner or sometime in the past, the lugs were bent a little bit so that it looked like it was 17, but maybe it was actually 16 in the past. And also my straps couldn't fit. I couldn't get the spring bars out and it became a mess. I basically had to I tried to rejigger this and do my own kind of leather work to make this new strap fit, but there are issues. That being said, I actually got it to a point where I still wear it and like it because it works good enough. And even though it's not perfect, and you see some, a little bit smaller of a lug size, or sorry, the leather is smaller than it should be, it still looks pretty good. So I still like this watch, but I've learned my lesson when it comes to buying things from unknown people with unknown history, even though this was serviced recently. It's a lesson learned. I guess you get what you're paying for. And I think I would next time probably pay a little bit more money, but maybe be a bit more sure that the condition is great. But still a great watch, so definitely be keeping this. Probably hard to sell as it is. The next one that's new is a very interesting one. This is a Cartier Santos Galbee, a quartz version from the year 2000 or 2001. It's a limited edition version, which is why I got it. And it has a very interesting double C kind of Cartier motif on the dial with this gray dial and white Roman numerals. I think it's great, and the condition when I got it is just amazing. The brace looks fantastic, so I paid a premium for this one, but I think it was worth it. I was looking for also a smaller sized watch. I think this is actually just 29 millimeters in diameter. That could just slip under anything and just be pretty inconspicuous. And no one would really notice it, but then I would know that it's a very cool thing on my wrist. And so this is my newest watch in my collection, and I really like it. You can see how thin it is. It's a quartz movement. I thought I would be bothered by the quartz movement, but it actually wasn't at all. And it's practical in that it has a date function. So this one is a keeper. I really like this. I actually don't know much about it either. I don't know, this is a limited edition version of this dial. It came with I I know released at the same time was another kind of double C motif dial that was light blue with black Roman numerals on the dial. But I don't know why. So if anyone has reasons as to what this was celebrating or what this limited edition was for, let me know. I'm still trying to figure that out. And then the latest new edition is the Casio. This, honestly, I was very influenced by Instagram. I was looking for a G-Shock anyway, something that I could take when I go camping, that is digital, that I don't need to worry about. But then, so I was going to get originally just the normal G-Shock. I forgot the reference number, DW 5500 or something like that. But then I saw this, and after a while I just bought it. I think it was a mistake. I mean, this is a cool watch, but I think I would prefer to have a strictly digital view on on the dial, not this kind of half, analog time, half digital. So this might be going. It might be replaced with another G-Shock, but it's still a very nice looking and cool watch, I would say. All right, those are the 3 new watches. Just to quickly go through the watches I've had in my collection. This, of course, is my IWC Portofino Chronograph, which is the first watch, the watch that started it all, the watch that I got for my wedding. And I still love this watch so much. So this isn't going anywhere. I still think its dial is really beautiful. I like the complication, how it looks. I really enjoy that the indices here are polished, and so they have a reflection on them. I don't know why this watch isn't more popular. I think it's not really IWC's kind of brand identity with their pilot watches and the Portuguese. Or this is kind of a funky line of watches with the Portofino. But I really like it. I really like it on this mesh bracelet. And I don't know, I think it deserves more attention by the watch community. Then we have, of course, the Baltic Aquascaphe Blue Gilt. I've also put it on a mesh bracelet. I realize I really do like these mesh bracelets. So it did come with a beads of rice bracelet. I think right now you can't really see the blue as well, but in direct sunlight it really looks great. Honestly, though, this hasn't got as much wrist time as it did 6 months ago. 6 months ago, this was in my rotation. But now, I think it gets much less wrist time. Maybe because I have more watches and I need to sell them, but still a very nice watch. And I feel like I'm just losing divers, left, right, and center. You'll notice that I did sell 2 divers, I'll talk about later. So I had a little diver group, but for some reason, I'm in a dress watch phase. The next one is the Rolex Datejust 36. Now size for me. Before in my last video, it was size for my wife. I somehow stole it back. This is just a beautiful watch. A classic watch, one that I got a great deal on too. And this isn't going anywhere. I wear this maybe the second most in my collection, either after the IWC or currently after the Cartier. There isn't much more you can say about this watch. I mean, there's a reason why Rolex is as popular as it is. That's what I've learned in my watch journey so far in the 2 years I've been on this watch journey. Everything when it comes to this watch, the design, I guess, has been iterated on so long that they've just perfected it now, where the bracelet, the Jubilee bracelet, is super comfortable. The clasp is designed really well, and they have, certain things like this extra half link that you can put in and out. So during the summer, or anytime you just feel like the size is not perfect, you can go half link just like that. I did it right in front of you. It takes 3 seconds. So I just think they designed this really well. Even though this it doesn't seem as thick as it is, it sits on the wrist well. The curves are perfect. It's just a great watch. Next one is the Ball Fireman Racer. This one, while it doesn't get as much wrist time, I don't think will ever leave my collection. I just love the dial. I love it's this kind of explorer style, but with a chapter ring with 5, 10, 15, 20 around it. I love the hands that are kind of pointer hands, very thick and fat. This is a great dial. Honestly, I keep switching up the strap. I think, and it also needs a service, in that it works, but when I wind it, it feels funny. The winding isn't as has some just funny feeling. I don't know how else to describe it. I know something's wrong with it, even though it tells time pretty well. So I'm just gonna find the right strap, and I think make this a little bit more dressy than it is, and I think this will get much more wrist time than it does at the moment. But until I get the right strap, I do wear it occasionally on this NATO. All right, then I have the Bambino version 2, Orient Bambino. This I don't wear that much, as I said in the last video, and I'll probably sell this, so not much more to say about this, other than this was a great watch for about a period of 3 months, until I realized I could get an even nicer watch. But for the money, this is amazing. This cost me like 120 bucks or something, and it's an automatic movement. It's relatively thin. That's a good size. Let me put it on. I guess I haven't been putting on some of the watches like the Ball, but I should for your benefit. I think it's 40 millimeters across. Fits my wrist is 6 1/4 inch, so it looks great. I just don't wear it as much. I think, I have too many other watches that I consider nicer, and so I don't wear this. So I will sell this. I said that last time, but hopefully I will. And then the other one is this Bertucci. This is the last of my collection at the moment. And this is a watch I bought also to go camping. The annoying thing about it is that there's no lume, but it is nice that it's quartz and I don't need to worry about the watch stopping. So this didn't cost me much, maybe 50 bucks, but I think this will also be sold. But this is a great watch. It's actually very light. The NATO strap is very thick and durable. I also like that. So this is a great watch, but I don't wear it enough. I think my philosophy is more, I want just a few watches that I wear. I don't want watches if I don't wear them. So I think that's where I am with that. Now there are 2 watches that left my collection since last time I did this. They are the Blancpain 50 Fathoms NORAD limited edition. I think that made me sad, but also will make other people sad that it's no longer in their collection. It was a great watch, an amazing watch actually, and that one I honestly have a regret selling, but not a deep regret, just a regret that it would be nice to have in my collection still, and a thought that if I had it in my collection, maybe I wouldn't be searching so much for the next watch. But that's probably false. You're always looking for the next watch. But it was just such a nice one, and one that if I bought again would be so much more expensive. That I do have some regret there. But I just didn't feel comfortable wearing that watch all the time. It was a very valuable watch, I guess, for me, and I didn't feel comfortable as it. Maybe that's changed now, how I feel about wearing expensive watches, but at the time I didn't feel comfortable, so I thought I might as well sell it if I'm not wearing it out as much. But one to regret, I think. And the other one is my Oris Heritage Diver 65, which I also really liked, but the dial just didn't do it for me. I thought the funky dial was something I would really enjoy. No, sorry about that. But over time, I learned it wasn't for me. It wasn't something I really enjoyed looking at. So I had 3 diver buddies in the Baltic and the 50 Fathoms and the Oris Heritage Diver 65. but of the 3 diver buddies, I only have one now. Bit of a sad story. There are, of course, more watches that I want to one day own. I guess the first one that I've been eyeing recently is the Chopard LUC Quattro Limited. So Chopard, when they did introduce the LUC lineup, came out with a few watches that were very, very, very cool. They did a lot, or invested a lot, in developing an in-house caliber, or multiple in-house calibers of watches, and I thought they were great. There's especially this power reserve indicator and date function one, which is the Quattro Limited, I think is amazing. They use a similar movement now for a lot of their watches, but I just don't like any of their modern watches. I guess I like the first few, and then since then, they've just been either too big or not my style. There's also a GMT version that looks amazing. And they're also relatively inexpensive for the finishing and the quality of watch. I see this Quattro Limited. I saw one selling for like $11,750, when I think it should be much, 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 much more. I think it's very undervalued right now. Then there's also the Cartier Privé Tortue reference 2688. I think this is my grail watch at the moment. There are some available in the $25,000 range, and that's way too much for me. But I also really like this watch. Something about having the power reserve and imagining the act of just filling a hand wound movement and seeing the power reserve indicator going up, but then still having the practicality of a date function while also having this beautiful dial and case shape and size. I think it's 34 millimeters. Is something that I think would be perfect. Then there's also the Patek Philippe reference 5022J. These Breguet numerals on this are amazingly beautiful. I think it's priced relatively well. A 33 millimeter dress watch, but I think every time I look down at my wrist with that on, I think it would be amazingly beautiful. And then the 2 others are a Breguet 3130, which I think is one of the Daniel Roth developed movements when he was at Breguet. And this one also has a power reserve indicator. I think I've been on a power reserve indicator kick. But I've always wanted a Breguet. It's very, distinct style, and it has such a history that having one would be a real privilege and a joy. So the Breguet is also on the list. And then lastly, there are some really cool old Panda chronographs. Like there's a Jaeger one, when Jaeger was just the branding before the joining of Jaeger and Jaeger LeCoultre, or during the time when they were one company, but they still branded in France as Jaeger. This is just an amazing looking chronograph. So rugged, very masculine. There are similar ones by Zinn and Zenith that seem big, but I think they would wear very well even on my smaller wrist. So eyeing one of those. So that's the state of the collection this year. I hope you enjoyed the video, and this was at least somewhat useful to you or interesting to you. And I'm glad I was able to share my collection and the love I have for watches with you all. Take care.